Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Josie Breckner. My pronouns are she and they. And I'm happy to hang out today and walk you through some of the process for Glass Cages from Rift of the Necrodancer. I've been getting a lot of awesome feedback from people playing in the demo, and I'm really thankful and appreciative that people are taking to the song. So I thought it'd be fun to pop open the old Logic file and I don't know, poke through, see if anything comes out that we want to talk about. I'm not recording this live in case I say something really silly. But yeah, I'm just going to sort of pop you through the song. If you're new to Glass Cages, this is the general vibe where we're at. Let's press play. So this was the second song that I got asked to write for Rift of the Necrodancer. Visualize Yourself was the first one that when they were reaching out to me and wanted to see if it would be a good fit, they had me do sort of as a test. And then when that went really well, the way it worked was with the composers working on Rift. It was me, Danny, Sam, Nick, Jules, and Alex. And we basically had a sort of master chart of all the music that we wanted to be in the game. And we sort of got to sort of pick and choose which characters we got to write for next. So I saw Nocturna's art and I got really excited about it because she looks really gay and cool. And I was like, I want to do a song for her where she's, you know, coming back from work late at night, sort of staring out her big windows into the city down below, this sort of melancholic, vampiric, baroque, but cool, glitzy vibe. And I had a couple things in mind when I was starting to work on this. Let's see, I brought up some references here. Okay, so number one was the song Twerk by I think a Belgian producer, Loden. Really cool music style. This has this like very intense, cool swing going on that I've always loved. I used to be a radio DJ in college, and so I found this song in the stacks way back when, and so wanted to do something just like it. And this is what that sounds like. Very weird, cool stuff. As a drummer, sort of main, I feel like all composers kind of write in their main instrument at heart, and so my heart will always be with cool rhythms and weird polyrhythms and odd time signatures and cool feels, and this song has like a lot of cool stuff it does with that sort of like triplet swing feel. Just very bouncy and cool, and it has that sort of nighttime crepuscular vibe. Another big influence for Glass Cages for sure was the classic, also just like one of the all-time music videos.
What we're living in, let me tell ya. Man, it's a world that man can eat at all. When things are big that should be small. Who can tell what magic spells we'll be doing for us? And I'm giving up.
I'm sure y'all can hear there's the piano stuff, you got the swing stuff going on, you have the disco strings.
Now there is no sound, but we all live underground. And I'm thinking what a mess we're in. Hard to know when
It's so good. If you don't know the song Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai, obviously an all-timer, definitely go listen to it. And then, of course, like, we were building on the world that Danny had started with Crypt, and all the subsequent music that is associated with Crypt. And so for me, that was trying to just pull little bits here and there from things like Mausoleum Mash. And there's actually a little Mausoleum Mash quote later on in Glass Cages, which we will hear. So, yeah, minimize that for now. We can just dive in. Let's see. Okay, so very first things I started with were this piano part, which we can solo it here. This is what it looks like. Pretty simple stuff. The beginning of the song, there's like a bit of an EQ happening over the whole thing. You can kind of see that here. It's giving it that sort of more telephony record player vibe. Start setting the scene. And then that's layered with this pad. Just helps sort of fill out the space. You'll probably see a lot. One of the ways I work is just trying to find cool combinations of sounds, and layering them together tends to, I don't know, make something that feels a little more unique and original. And yeah, so moving right along. Then we get the bass coming in. Now, in this whole beginning section of the song, we have bass, drums, and they're all being affected by this bit crusher. And that's like another area where just getting that little bit of extra information in the sound just gives it a more unique vibe. A little bit extra high frequencies just to kind of make it pop a little bit, and make it a little earwormier. You can hear what it sounds like without the bit crusher if I turn that off. It's just not the same, Here. Instruments that I'm using. This is the Scarby MM bass from the Contact package. My drums are Addictive Drums. This Modern Soul Pack. Pretty minimal effects on a lot of this stuff. Really just I have this saturator going, just to again add a little more bite to some of this stuff. All right, where are we in the song? So then the guitar comes in. And the synth. So here's the guitar patch. This guitar also was a sort of big moment in sort of helping figure out like the vibe of the song. Just playing it down here. This is Shreddage 3 Hydra. Just has this really cool, weird vibe. And this is pretty much all the bass patch. What I like about it is that every time you hit a note, you get a slightly different sound and vibe. There's like a round robin sampler thing happening. It is a little bit of a piece of chaos in the song. Sometimes it wouldn't hit just right, and if you listen, you can hear. Here, I'll pull up the MIDI. You can hear the panning is also changing depending on how the note hits. If you're listening on headphones, maybe. Just the way, so that panning means like the way that the sound is spread around the space. So it just moves slightly and it's a little bit randomized. And so that's just one of those like chaotic elements that I'm gonna let the song do what it wants to do. So we have this new synth added, just add a little more flavor and character on top. And the piano again and this bell pad are doing the same thing. We'll probably see as I dig into some of the MIDI stuff, there's some stuff like this where it's technically a wrong note and that's just a product of me playing the chords myself. And I just never cleaned it up and it's in the song and, you know, who cares? Whatever, you know? You can barely hear it. It's just texture. It's just all dirt, you know? It's all good dirt. All right, let that section play out. This like clicky thing in the drums, also another example of that. Let's see, let's pull that out. Solo these guys. I wasn't trying to do the stick, but I was just drumming out on the keyboard. You can hear what that sounds like if I just have the patch up. This is me just playing on the keyboard now. And I just hit a wrong note, but it kind of is cool, and so I just kept it in. The first big stabby section. Okay, so these synths I love to death. So I am very particular when looking for a sound. There's a lot of sort of happy accidents that happen, and I guess that's going to be a theme of this video. But I'll just go through patches for a long time and then tweak some of them to my liking. But honestly, starting with a patch that feels right is so much easier than trying to force something that's not quite right into fitting into what you want. So we have this absinthe patch. Just so much weirdness and cool stuff built into it. Just a lot of character. This is a massive patch over here. So if we hear those one by one, let's see, this is the absinthe patch. Pulled up those MIDIs. Nice. And then we hear the massive patch. Again, it's gonna be the same MIDI. We're just layering stuff still. And then we stick those together. Just something cool and weird, you know? We also have the bell pad in there, which is just adding a slight more attack to the sound. This was, I had to create copies of all these instruments to just remove, to remove the release. So for those who don't know, that means the when you're playing a note, Maybe not on this one. It was just on this one, I think. You can hear at the end of that song, it just peters off for forever. Or at the end of that note, excuse me. So for this guy, have it stop much shorter so that we can have these quick notes here. Here, I'll just listen to this. And not have it be so dissonant because all these notes are blending into each other. So this way we can have this little step down thing. Show you. And just get that nice sort of step down into the final chord. I just love how big and juicy this is. Once I found this situation, this vibe and combination of things, I was just like, hell yeah. Just this huge fat major chord. Beautiful. When something feels right in your soul, you kind of just know, you know? All right, where are we? So let's hear that with everything. The bass here is kind of doing a counter point to our main synths. Let's see, put these together, just take a look. Ooh. Bunk. You know, some nice just opposing movement. You know, that's classical music 101. And yeah, then the guitar. I do a mix of live guitar when I'm recording, and then also virtual guitar sometimes. This is something I could not have recorded myself live, and so you get this cool kind of Dire Straitsy, like Mark Knopfler-y, just kind of weird guitar solo. And I just love how kind of like imperfect it is. You know, just letting it be weird. And yeah, this is like a rhythm game, so like I had to also think about quantizing stuff and having it be somewhat approachable for the design team. But I think having these moments that sort of mess with the grid a little bit was also really nice. And then we have the Mausoleum Mash reference right here. And we're in a new section. I was like so worried about making this feel too shoehorned, but also worried in general while working on the riff music about not having enough stuff to tie it back DNA wise to Danny's music for Crypt. So yeah, I wanted to put something sort of really forward, really obvious in here that fans could find on their own. I love a nice drum fill. And then we have this little sort of interstitial section. Let's see. The bass turns into this weird synth bass thing here, which I'm a fan of. I feel like a big theme for my stuff for Rift with the Necrodancer is all these sort of vibes clashing together when we're dealing with a game that has shifted the sort of fabric of the multiverse around our characters. Like, I think it's cool and fun to have that reflected in the genres of the music. So having stuff where there are these changes from genre to genre, I think works, even though it's kind of weird and unconventional. Here's that one. I have a little synth in the background too, that's just kind of holding down the swing feel. Let's see, this one is another Alchemy. Alchemy is the built-in Logic synthesizer that was released when Logic shifted to Logic 10, and it's honestly great. I love it a lot. There's a ton of different ways to find sounds, and then once you have a patch you like, it comes with 8 sort of different versions of that patch to pick from, and it just makes narrowing in on a good sound really easily. So this is just arpeggiating and then swinging the note here with the swing function on the arpeggiator. Just flavor, just flex, texture and flavor. Let's see what else is happening here. Some nice dissonances. Kind of vibing. And then you can hear we have this, okay, here, let's listen to it in context. But we have this transition of this like kind of dark version of this transition segment, and then a sort of more calm, gentle restatement of it. And for me, you know, that can represent Nocturna's sort of like inner conflict, thinking about stuff, feeling stuck, trying to make peace with it, then going back and forth. I feel like when I was writing this mini section, let's see, let me pull up YouTube again. I was like thinking of the house, not house, the ER theme song. And I don't even know if that is relevant or if it's even close to being right, but let's pull it up. It's so goofy. The like tabla in the background. Honestly, it kind of hits. Dun dun dun. Yeah, I think that DNA is in this section. Let's see. Definitely there. Brains are funny. All right, so this is a little gentle Alchemy synth again. And then more bell pad. And then let's see what's going on here. Has all the chord information. One thing I learned was that part of, in Danny's mind, part of the Crypt of the Necrodancer DNA is like a lot of pumping, a lot of side chains. So that was something that wasn't initially on my radar of things I was thinking about when I was writing music for the Necrodancer world. But once he explained that to me, it made a lot of sense. And so we started bringing in that a lot more. And you can hear that side chaining here. This patch is called Robot Learning to Speak. And again, we have that swing on the arpeggio as well. So that's, if we didn't have that swing, it would sound a lot worse. If we had too much of it, it'd also sound bad. But 62% is the right amount. Just get that groove going. Anything else? Piano. And this, let's see, this looks like it got disconnected. Let's hook that back up. Star Wars Disco Kit. Just another textural layer that's in here. Especially for songs for Rift, which we knew that players are going to be playing a lot as they try to do better on the levels. Little details like this, I think, add a lot, even though it's small and in the background. Just little things that give the ear something new to latch onto on different listens, I think, are really important for replayability. And this is the thing in all video game music, but I think especially so in one where the music is so forefronted and the players are really consciously thinking about it all the time. That's all the percussion here. And then we get to the amazing Sarah Hubbard. So I'm just going to play this section all the way through, and then we can go through and talk about it. She's so good. She's just too good. That's really the thing, is that Sarah is just too good. So Sarah is a violinist and fiddler based out of Colorado, and we met online and have hung out in person, and it is absolutely a joy to work with. And as you can see, just totally knocked this out in 4 takes. I have, let's see. Here's what I sent her. Let me pull that up. Here is the sheet music for Glass Cages. We were working on this back in 2022, which is crazy that it was almost 2 years ago. But yeah, so minimal stuff, because I know Sarah and that she's an incredible improviser. So all I had to do was send her the chords, as you can see up here, send her a bunch of slash marks, and then chart out what the MIDI strings were doing so that she could play around and then play in. You'll see some pink on here, and that was both corrections on my part, and down here in this section here, me asking her to play into the MIDI strings so her improv could sort of blend into the main melody line as we go along. So let's just isolate her, and let's isolate the MIDI strings. And then we can just sort of do a little follow along. So we're starting up here at 83. just killed it. Just absolutely killed it. So the way that Sarah and I usually work when she's recording for me is, especially for improv stuff, she'll just send me a bunch of takes. And then I will comp them together. So you can see that we have the 4 takes lined up here. This is the same takes, just copied below individually. We can listen to those one-on-one. And then I just chose bits and phrases that I liked. And you can see mostly I was just, this 4th take is just like killer. So that's what we have the most from. But let's listen to some of the individual takes. Unmute you, please. Mute you, please. Are you kidding me? Let's listen. I actually haven't listened to these since I was working on this, so this is really great. Yeah. I don't know what to say other than just keep saying over and over again that she's incredible, and y'all should totally follow her. Again, her name is Sarah Hubbard, and she makes my life incredibly easy because I can just give her anything and she just does it, which is crazy to me. Yeah. Let's see what else is going on in that section. Okay, solo you. So the strings here are playing along with the synths. No, sorry. We're back to the verse. So yeah, so this section is pretty much copy paste, except for the addition of all the strings, just to add more exciting elements to it. Oh, now we have all these. Okay, mute you. The strings I'm using for the MIDI are musical sampling adventure strings, which are loading. Here we go. And it's a really simple no frills patch. I like it a lot because sometimes it's really hard to do more staccato kind of quick stuff with strings because of the way that the VST is built. It's just most people who are using virtual strings are trying to do nice gentle pads for a cinematic or like an epic thing, and I'm generally doing much more quick rhythmic and melodic stuff. And these just sound really nice. I was like on a quest a couple years ago for just like a really straightforward, easy to use strings patch, and there's violins, cellos, there's like a combined one, violas, obviously, and Clark Abood, my buddy who did the music for Slay the Spire, was like, just get this musical sampling pack, and it's been great. And it wasn't that expensive, so a good deal, and I've just basically used it on most projects since then. So we have the violins in octaves and then the cellos as well. And then just a little cheeky pitch bend, as you can see here on the violin. Just for a little bit of fun, you know? here we have the strings and the synths all together. The strings and the synths just working together really fill out everything, make it feel more intense, more emotional. You can hear the strings are going all the way up here, which we didn't get the first time around. The rhythm's off, but it doesn't matter because there's so much happening. It's a quantizing error, you know? Better done than perfect is always my motto with stuff. You can't hear it, so it's fine. Then we have this transition section. Again, kind of switching genres here to go kind of djenty for a second. I'm a big fan of Muse at heart, and so anytime you can have just like a really intense metal classical proggy piano moment, like I'm here for. So let's see what's happening here. Pull this up. Shush. So just have the octaves. Do 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 do. This has an effect on it that's like remixing and chopping up, sort of note repeating the end bit a little bit. And then I have this. This chopped from the beginning. So this is a bounce of the stuff from the beginning, and then yeah, here's the note repeat effect, where we're just splicing and then gluing back together in increasing quickness. I don't even know why that sound is happening. There's some like weird effect happening here. This is the only thing that's playing. I don't know. Sounds fine to me though. Sometimes you just gotta leave the little mysteries in there. And here's the djent. This again is the Hydra shreddage instrument. Very fun. With the piano. And here in the bass too. Everything just building. What's this? And then that goes into the next section. There was a version, okay, so over here, we can poke about this a little bit afterwards, but there's a version of it that had that as like a whole vibe, but it didn't make the cut. You know, just trying some stuff, but you know, sometimes stuff doesn't work. Okay, and then we have the build towards the end. Sorry. So we're starting to layer everything back together and just build and build and build and build to give this song and like all the songs in Necrodancer this sort of push towards the end of the song. You know, you've been playing the song for 2.5 minutes at this point. You're maybe nervous because you've hit all your perfects and you're trying to really just keep it clean through to the finish line. And so you want the song emotionally to carry the weight and the investment of the player in that moment. As you can see here, over everything right now, there's this EQing effect happening. And maybe you can hear it better on the drums. Oh shoot, these ones got disconnected too. So I switched computers. I got a new computer sometime after I made this, and so this has been misbehaving. Just give it that big club vibe. What else we got here? So here we have the intro back. And just a little tease of the guitar part, right? I feel like personally, as a composer, I always really, really love just writing melody, adding more melodies. And so anytime I have a chance to stack multiple melodies on top of each other, I'm in a pretty happy place. And it's fun because like when I was writing this piano part, I was not thinking about this guitar part at all. The guitar part, after hearing the piano part so much while working on the song, the guitar part started to sing itself to me on top of all this stuff. And so I wanted to get it in there by the end. This part to feel really spacey and really dreamy because I knew that we're about to sort of crash back down into something loud and big. So we have a little bit of this Alchemy synth back in. Very nighttime sky vibes. All right, unsolo everything. And then the final section, which we can pull apart, but let's listen to it first. And when I was writing this, I was like, maybe this is too much. There's a conceit when writing music that you basically want all the pieces to be working together, right? And on a frequency spectrum, you want all of the sounds to have their place in the frequency spectrum so that they're not overlapping and making the mix muddy. And then also conceptually, from like a musical and melodic and counterpoint standpoint, you want generally groups to be doing similar things. And so having a section where everything's kind of exploding, the bass is doing one thing, the guitars are doing another thing, the piano's doing one thing, the strings are doing another thing. Like it's not by the books good composers, 10 out of 10 composers recommend this. But I think sometimes you got to break some rules. So let's pull this apart. The easiest part of the section are the drums. Let's see, drums. Just big clubby vibes. This probably sounds a little bit different than the final mix because of the way it was mastered. Get the strings. You can hear the side chaining in there. Look at how chaotic it is in here. So this is all the string MIDI, the string and the synth pad MIDI. And the quicker notes in here are following the piano, which is still happening because it's in this intro. So let's pair these together and see what that sounds like without the strings. And then, yeah, the strings just add so much drama and heightened energy to it, right? Because we have these like sustains and these dissonances, and it all just sounds really nice. And then everything coming back together at the end. Okay, so that's the pads and the strings. The guitar we heard was doing this line before. And then the new section, we just kind of double down on that. So let's see, pull the drums. Let me pull it up. Yeah, again, very prog rocky, very Muse. That's just like something I'll never ever get out of my DNA, and I love that stuff to death. I also love like a kind of the feeling of like a guitar solo that's like written, you know. I'm trying to think of, let's see, I'm sure we can find like Never Enough by Dream Theater. Has a great guitar solo, doesn't he? Yeah, so I really hope this doesn't get like DMCA because I'm listening to all this stuff. It's instructional, right? It's instructional. So that's kind of the vibe I was going for there. The weird thing is the bass. So the bass is actually using a guitar patch from the same instrument I've been using, the Hydra, and this sounds like this when it's just played. So obviously you get down to those low bass notes anyway, so it's basically a virtual bass patch, and it just has this really great chorus sound on it that just really cuts through the mix. Let's solo this. I just love this kind of like walking bass line thing coming out here. It's just so slick and dirty. And I don't know. For me, I was like, once I hit this, I was like trying to figure out the right notes, and it was a little hard to sort of get it to fit all right in the mix. But once this hits, it's just so... Yeah. So with the guitar... with everything. It always gets me. So I have this police siren ambience in there, and the like way it sounds has this like binaural effect that makes it sound like it's happening outside. Like I would be working on this, I would get to the end, and I'd be like, I'd look out my window afterwards and be like, what's happening out there? And then remember that it's in the music. Here, we can just listen to that solo. This is just from a sample library I had of different sounds, just to finally sort of drive home that put you in the perspective of Nocturna, like looking out her window at night. Yeah, and then we have this sort of just outro tag. We were asked to not make the songs longer than 3 minutes, and I didn't realize that they were going to include the tags in that, so I'm sorry, team, for going long on this one. I also didn't realize I wanted the feeling of a slowdown at the end, but you can't. The way that the music system worked is that we couldn't code a slowdown into the thing, so I had to sort of just fake it on top of the metronome. Like if we play the metronome through that, you'll just hear it clicking out of tempo. So I'm sorry anyone who's having weird issues hitting those timing of those last notes. That's my bad. And yeah, that's the whole song. The only other thing I can show you right now is just a little clip of behind the scenes, what it looks like while I'm writing stuff. So all the way over here, usually the way I work in a file is I'll just open a piano patch and start messing around, and that's what I did for Glass Cages. I just started with the piano patch and have some early sketches of stuff that were me on the way to figuring out what I wanted the song to be. So you can hear the sort of 3/4 note ostinato motif that happens in the song. So a lot of weird notes in there, you know, just figuring stuff out. No judgment here. Let's see, what's this? You can hear how it's all like in the realm of what we ended on, but it's just not quite there yet. This note. I write a lot by ear, so my process looks so much like this, where I'm just like, this note, no, this vibe, this chord. Let's see, what is this? Yep, early draft. You can hear this chord became that interstitial section with the kind of intense aggro guitar. What note do I want? Oh, we got drums coming in. My bad. Let's see. Anything else juicy in the realm of forgotten drafts? Messing around with the bells. Yeah. Okay. I think we've hit rock bottom in terms of that stuff. So, yeah. Thank you so much again for listening to this whole thing. Let's see how I can play this. Should make it really quiet. Thank you so much again. Actually, it's in the background while I'm talking and I can't do it. Thank you so much for being here through all of this, for your excitement about Rift of the Necrodancer, allowing new composers like me and Alex and Sam and Nick and Jules isn't really new, but to step into the space and do hopefully a good job with music that we know you love. And if you have any questions about Glass Cages or about my process, I'll be monitoring the comments pretty closely, so feel free to just ask me anything. I'm happy to respond. Thank you to Brace Yourself and TikTok and Danny and everyone from the dev side, the level designers for doing an awesome job taking something so complicated and making it a fun playable experience. Thank you to Sarah for her amazing violin. Again, go check her out because she has a bunch of bands that she plays with and is always touring. And mostly thank you all again for being here and your interest, and I hope you got something cool out of this. And if this gets a good response, maybe I'll do some more of these for the other songs from Riff. So I hope everyone stays healthy and safe out there, and yeah, I'll see you on the net and in the rhythm zone, in the multiverse. All right, thanks y'all. Bye.